How many know people are treating to win the lottery and they won't go out and buy a ticket? Okay. They're treating to be happy, but they're not doing things that set happiness in motion. They're waiting for everybody else to do it. We were talking about Friday night, and listen, if you weren't here Friday, it was just an absolutely wonderful experience, our Good Friday service. And thank you, Reverend Jane, and everybody involved in Friday night. It was wonderful. Rolf, music was great, and it was wonderful. And one of the parts of the evening which we found ourselves repeating, and that was the concept of Jesus on the cross saying, "Forgive them, for they know not what they do." Now, he wasn't saying, "Forgive them, for they don't know what they do," to him. He was saying they don't know what they're doing to themselves. Okay? How many know people that are doing stupid things that if in appearance it looks like it's doing it to you, but you realize if you're a metaphysician, they're not doing it to you, they're doing it to themselves. Okay? You know, in my first year students, one of the first lessons I teach in first year class is pay attention to what other people are giving to the world around them and how they feel about you or anything else, and realize that whatever they're doing has to go out from them, multiply, and return where? To them. Okay? Now, if you're going to respond to them, should you not respond from the intelligence within you that says, wait a minute, what do I want to return to me? And then shut up and listen to yourself, and then give from the lesson you're giving yourself. That's the gift you want to return. How many know that you might have made a new decision if you'd taken time to do that? See? How many know if you have children, before you react to what they're doing, count to 10? Well, that same thing applies as an adult, no matter who you're with or what anybody else is doing in your life. All they are doing is something that's going to return to them. Pay attention to what you wanted to return to you. How many have the handout I gave you this morning? We use this Friday night, but somebody said you need to do it, and I thought it would be great. You have it here, and listen to this. I'm going to share it with you, and just let yourself embody what it's saying, because if you live from this, just one day, I promise you, you will not go back and live another way. And here's why. Everybody say, if I see anything in a clear way, I can never again go back and accept a vague explanation of it. Isn't that true? Okay. How many have had a breakthrough in clarity and you know you can't go back and accept a vague explanation? How many have had a breakthrough in some superstitious idea you had and all of a sudden you realize that, you know, nincompooperi? Remember we had a lesson a couple of weeks ago. And then if you think nincompooperi, don't complain if you have nincompooperi show up in your life. The same thing in anything you're doing. Don't think from worry, from fear, from condition. Think from truth. That's the way you roll the stone away. I'll share this with you and listen. You can read it and just listen to it in your heart. Promise yourself to be so strong that nothing can disturb your peace of mind. Promise yourself to talk health, happiness, and prosperity to every person you meet. Promise yourself to make all your friends feel that there is something worthwhile in them. Promise yourself to look at the sunny side of everything and make your optimism come true. Promise yourself to think only the best, to work only for the best, and to expect only the best. Promise yourself to be just as enthusiastic about the success of others as you are about your own. Promise yourself to never forget the mistakes of the past and press on to the greater achievements of the future. To forget the mistakes of the past. What did I say? Never forget? Yeah, right. Promise yourself to improve your memory. All right. Promise yourself to forget the mistakes of the past. Promise yourself to wear a cheerful expression at all times and give a smile to every living creature you meet. Turn and smile at somebody. Jane's smiling at me right now. Promise yourself to give so much time to improving yourself that you have no time to criticize others. How many know if you were to do that this week, you would have more time? Promise yourself to be too large for worry, too noble for anger, too strong for fear, and too happy to permit the presence of trouble. Promise yourself to think well of yourself and to proclaim this fact to the world, not in a loud word, but in great deeds. And last but not least, promise yourself to live in the faith that the whole world is on your side, so long as you are true to the best that is in you. This was written by Christian D. Larson in 1936. Christian D. Larson was the first editor of the Science of Mind magazine. He was one of the greatest writers we ever have. If you do not have Pathway of Roses in your metaphysical library and in your heart, I recommend it to all of you, or anything that Christian D. Larson has ever written. I was a student of Dr. Fenwick Holmes, Ernest Holmes' older brother, and Fenwick told me that one day Ernest Holmes came running out of the backyard with Edinburgh Lectures, Thomas Troard's great work. And he ran in the house and he said, Fenwick, he said, Troard has solved the problem of duality. And it was a major breakthrough. Everything you read, everything you study in the Science of Mind was influenced by Troard, Thomas Troard, Judge Thomas Troard. Well, Fenwick read it and he was impressed and it made sense, but the thing that allowed Fenwick to have a breakthrough was Pathway of Roses by Christian D. Larson. And it was wonderful because when they started the Institute of Religious Science and School of Philosophy back in 1918, 1919, when it first developed,